Welcome back to Cigar Time, your ever so friendly show all about premium cigars every Wednesday night at this time. And for those of you who are enjoying this wonderful weather, depending on where you are, the temperature is between 0 and 105. So I think I've covered all our various places. Where
It's closer to
Could
zero.
be negative too.
Yeah, I was just thinking
It's
that.
closer to
Like
zero.
Closer
Fargo.
to 0? Well,
Fargo.
sorry. We are very happy and pleased to have George Sosa, our
Thank you,
dear
Dr.
old
Anderson.
friend from Alec Bradley, who is their major domo.
Yes.
Chief cook and bottle washer. Although I understand you don't do bottles anymore.
No, I'm out of the bottle business.
Out of the bottle business. Okay. So we're going to talk about Alec Bradley today, and plus a special cigar that was made for us by Alec Bradley, which we'll explain a little bit later. But we're going to light them
Light
up.
up? Okay.
Light up and smoke them. You got them? Smoke them?
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's a term you don't hear much anymore.
I
Got 'em,
cheated. I've been
smoke 'em.
smoking.
Yeah,
I
you did
know,
cheat. That's
I
okay.
know.
Can't keep my hands off of these Taza de Jose's.
Well, more about that later.
So
Coming out.
let's talk Alec. Let's talk Alec Bradley.
Some of us are smoking the bottle, some of us are smoking the Connecticut.
Connecticut. Yep.
It's got
Some
interesting
of us
flavor.
are smoking the other one.
There's the next phase of Taza de Jose.
For those of you who, because you keep hearing the words Taza de Jose, in Spanish I believe that means cup of Joe or cup of coffee, but Joe, Jose, Joe. I was able to figure
Taza is cup,
cup
de of,
of,
and Jose is Joe in English,
yeah,
in Spanish.
and
It's Joe's cup.
No, it's the cup of Joe.
Cup of
No.
Joe.
cup of Joe.
That's
Joe,
how they-
That's how
how
we
they talk.
translate it.
Joe is another terminology
It's
for
how you
coffee.
Madagans translate it.
It's Mitigan.
I guess I couldn't say Taza de Cafe.
So was this meant to smoke with? Drink with a cup of coffee?
Really, it
for
goes
the
with
name.
everything. The natural is a lot better with a cup of coffee because it's more on the mild side. But when you get into the Habano, definitely break out the Scotch or the heavy wines.
Yeah.
I felt that when I smoked that. I did cheat and smoked the Habano already.
So tell us, what's happening with Alec Bradley?
Exciting year.
Yeah, it has
A lot of accolades, a lot of travel. We're finally closing out the year. We're having a successful year, and every year I try and end up being that I grew up in the Northeast. I try and, after 200 days of travel, I try and have my last trip back home so I don't forget where I come from.
That's a lot of traveling.
Yeah, at times.
You're out
If
of
you
the
know,
country a lot too.
yeah, if you know my background, I've always been a traveler, being in the Navy. So this definitely pays better than the Navy. And I get to smoke cigars on the job and meet some great people.
The food's better.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I had some pretty good food, but if you can tell by my size, Navy guys are normally the fattest ones in the service.
Really?
Yeah. We got 3 squares on a ship. But when you talk about travel, one of the best parts of this, I was racking my brain as I was driving to Horsham this morning, and Art started out as a customer. I've known him
Yeah.
almost 20 years now in the friendships.
Yeah.
And there are places that I got to be honest. This morning I wasn't going the speed limit coming here 'cause I look forward
Yeah.
to the friendships, and I wanted to get here before my sales rep to break bread. So I'm pretty blessed because I've had accounts that have turned into friends, and now I consider you guys my extended family.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's beautiful.
I, on the other hand, take my time getting here.
Yes.
So I don't want to
I
rush.
do too. I go so slow.
I don't want to rush.
What's up with that, Art?
You can't get help like you used to. This
Come on, this guy's a teddy
I
bear.
was here before you.
He's a teddy bear.
these young kids nowadays, they just don't,
Young kids.
they just don't have it.
I was here before you today.
All right, that's it. Starting tomorrow, Kenny runs the place, and
thank
you'll see a hard ass.
Oh, thank God. Oh, give me a way to go.
Hi, Kenny.
I'm coming, Mom. I'm coming.
Yeah, come Elizabeth.
That's funny.
So I know you spend a lot of time in Europe,
Yes.
and I follow religiously your Facebook postings all over Europe, espousing the virtues of Alec Bradley and a lot of wonderful placements in Germany and countries like that, Russia and everything like that. I mean, how? I think a lot of our audience, since most Americans don't really travel more than 500 miles from where they were born, which is kind of sad. but I mean, what's the difference in the culture? Let's just stick with maybe Europe and Russia. What's the culture over there for smoking and the etiquette for smoking different than what you see here in this country?
I'd love to know about Russia first.
Well, let me back up a little bit. 20 years ago, when I first started doing business in Europe, I'll never forget the cold shoulder I received. Let's take Germany for an example. Germany is the largest market in Europe. At the time, Germany was smoking 90% Cubans,
Oh, yeah.
10% all other countries. So you show up there with a Nicaraguan cigar that was cellophane, and Maduro, forget about it. They
Yeah.
equated Maduro to machine made.
Wow.
So it was 90-10. Today it's 75-25.
Get out.
75% being other countries and 25% being Cuban.
Wow, that's
And
It
amazing.
was
we're-
changing, yeah.
We're growing every day. As far as the etiquette, it goes from country to country. Some countries, smoking has all but been prohibited. You know, Italy. Italy, you can't smoke in a cigar store. You have to have a club. Russia, you can't smoke in a cigar shop. They have to close the shop to a private event to do. Now, Germany's more, it's a lot easier to get away with stuff in Germany. England, yeah. A lot of countries are going to plain packaging.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm telling the watching, you know, I get the pleasure of traveling all over the world, and I see some extreme examples of what the FDA, if they had their way, that's what they would do. So you really have to get proactive, join the CRA, there's sample letters to the FDA, because right now Canada is going to plain packaging, which means this isn't a Padron anniversary, but it looks like a Padron anniversary. Therefore, it can be in a box. They can tell you it's a Padron anniversary, and you won't know the difference because it's not going to be in a Padron box. It's going to be in a bin.
With no label.
Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, they have all gone to plain packaging. It's like you're buying bundle cigars. So
Is there
No
what's
band?
beyond the
No.
band?
no ban.
No ban?
No
ban.
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 That's what I said, no
Let's
label.
consider
Plain
that
packaging
advertising.
means plain packaging.
Yep.
Okay, and if you read on, that's the FDA is slowly but surely getting stronger and stronger, trying to prevent this, all while making pot easier to get a hold of. It's very disheartening when you go to a state like Washington State with the high taxes and you can't smoke in a store, yet you can go on an Indian casino and you can smoke, eat, and drink, and the cigars are 65% cheaper.
Yeah.
So all we're asking for is a level playing field.
Wow.
That's all we're asking for.
I've
Well,
never
you
been to
know,
an Indian
There's
casino.
been some pushback. I mean, we've been able to push back a little bit on the advertising and on the warning labels and stuff like that. It's a holding pattern. It's staving them off, and we're hoping with the present administration being so anti-regulation that maybe we'll get some consideration and there'll be a carve out for premium cigars. But you know, the way they're going now with flavor cigars, obviously that's their current agenda. And if they really are serious about banning flavors in all tobacco, or making only flavored, like what we sell, flavored cigars, which is a small portion of our business, but still a nice portion. A lot of people like to
It's a
smoke
real
flavor.
big portion of other people's business.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But what they may allow, like they're doing for the e-cigarettes and vaping, if it's in a age-controlled environment, in other words, you won't be able to buy flavored cigars like in a convenience store or in a gas station, where you will be able to buy it in states that well, it's nationwide, where the age can be verified, or where minors are not allowed in the store. Like here in Pennsylvania, if you have smoking going on in the store, you can't come into a store unless you're 18 years old, which is the legal age for tobacco.
19 in Jersey.
What I
19 in Jersey, right?
What I don't understand is the FDA, you know, you have all these pills and stuff that's killing people and also like that. And this little bit of tobacco that built the country, you know, built a lot of places and feeds a lot of people, doesn't kill you, you know, in that way. It does, you know what I mean? It doesn't,
But you have to.
do you see what I'm
realize
saying? I don't understand.
This has nothing to do with
It's so
health.
terrible.
A lot of this is junk science.
It's politics.
The FDA even admits that. It's politics. Because
That's horrible.
Here's what you run into. if two people are running for Congress, let's say, and they're having a debate in the local firehouse, and there's 150, 200 people in the firehouse, and it doesn't matter which party, the one candidate is pro-smoking, the other candidate is anti-smoking. 75 to 80% of the audience is going to be with the anti-smoking
Anti-smoking.
crowd, because either they are ambivalent or they're actually anti-smoking. And the pro-smoking group is going to be barely 20 or 25%. So it becomes a political job, to borrow a phrase from that famous movie Blazing Saddles. These politicians like to hold on to their quote-unquote phony baloney jobs.
Yeah, and I apologize 'cause I didn't meant for the European or the traveling question to dovetail into FDA. But I just say it because I see it when I go to Europe. Now, when you take a look at Europeans, they ask me, how are the shops in the United States? I see pictures.
Wow.
We are so blessed. I mean,
Yeah.
we're sitting in Horsham.
Wow.
That humidor is about twice the size of some of the biggest humidors, if not 3 times in Europe. A lounge, you don't see lounges like you see here. I mean, this lounge is bigger than my apartment in Miami. I mean, I could live here, you know, and the TVs and being able, that's really important that you protect brick and mortars. Very important. You may have gotten a better deal from XYZ. Smoke the cigar in your garage. You'll see what great deal that is. Pumping good air into a place, pumping heating and refrigeration out because you're keeping the air circulating. The friendliness of the staff, the advice they can give you,
Yeah.
makes all the difference in the world. And in Europe, they are no kidding tobacconists. When you walk in there, you almost feel like, is this guy thinking I'm shoplifting?
Yeah.
They walk into the humidor, but solely to tell you about the cigars. They see it as a profession.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
almost
I
like they take everything to the next extreme.
Yeah.
Cab drivers in London go to school for 2 years before they trust them
Right.
on a cab.
Wow.
You have to know
I like
the.
that.
You need to know the sites if they ask questions. Very professional. Tobacconists over there take their jobs very professional,
serious, yeah.
and they're gonna
That's
recommend
nice.
and they're gonna ask you and they're gonna put you in the right. And I think that's one of the advantages. And I'm not saying it because I'm on your show. I've been to most of your stores, and your guys are very friendly and approachable.
And gals.
And gals, I'm sorry
Oh,
when I say
thank
guys.
you.
When you walk into the store, you feel like you belong, and that's really important.
Well, we you know, we strive, and I think I can speak for everyone, we strive to put customer service first and foremost. I mean, sure, we have our deals, we have our packs, we have all kinds of, you know, competitive things. And a long time ago, when this started out 20 odd years ago, you know, I felt we had to have a big presence in the humidor for variety, because we were during the boom, and we had to have a place to smoke, because even though back then you could smoke anywhere practically, and that I never thought that would last forever.
Really? Wow.
No, I saw it coming a long time ago. And you had to have friendly people. You had to have people that were knowledgeable, and we've tried our best, unlike some chains or some malls, and not necessarily tobacconists, because I think most, especially brick and mortar, have knowledgeable people in their stores. But it's one thing to have knowledge, and it's another thing to not be intrusive and to be friendly, and to offer good customer service. And recently, and I hadn't done this in a very, very long time, I went to Google and was researching the reviews of our stores. And unflinchingly, you know, in the hundreds and hundreds of reviews we've gotten, you know, they were 5-star, 4-star, 4.5, and it averaged out to about 4.5 stars in the various reporting groups. And I was very heartened to read some of the reviews. And even some of the reviews that not necessarily were the greatest, the way they were written told me that one, maybe we didn't handle something the best way, but then in really reading through some of them, you know, even some of the people that didn't give us good reviews said nice things about us, and we may have been out of something.
So
or-
important.
Oh, they can't
Yeah,
stand
I
that
mean,
when we're out of
but
something. Yeah.
unwaveringly, all the reviews said great service, great selection, friendly people, which I think in a brick and mortar situation, since most retailers go up against the internet giants. The internet giants are in our business, so we have to be nimble. We have to always be on our toes, and we have to provide a level of customer service and a selection and a lounge that, sets us apart. I always like to say we don't have stores on every street corner, but with 14 stores, we cover the Philadelphia metropolitan area pretty well, and we try to be good stewards. And as another year is sort of in the books, I think it's good that you bring up the difference between the typical American tobacconist and what you see in Europe and places like that, because I've traveled. Now, I was in Amsterdam about 6 or 7 years ago, the day they banned sitting outside at the cafes and smoking cigarettes, pipes, and cigars, but yet you could smoke pot on the deck. I thought that was incredulous. But having said all that, we are very blessed to be in this country when it comes to smoking. And none of us should ever take it for granted. And there's a lot of people in the industry, especially at the manufacturing level, that are in Washington all the time fighting for our rights. As smokers, as retailers, I mean, everybody has a vested interest in this. And
It feeds
having
families.
smoked these things now,
Takes care of people.
yeah. I mean, I've been smoking these things for 55 years, and I don't want to see it go away. It isn't even selfishly that I'm in the business. It's just I don't want to see any of our rights further eroded.
Yeah.
And our rights have been eroded over the years.
Yep.
So
Well said.
What's that?
this is good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this
You
one.
didn't expect
I
you-
didn't.
Because you're not a big Connecticut. You're not a big Connecticut.
I'm sitting here like, oh my God.
This is not your typical
No.
low-intensity Connecticut.
No.
George, what's the blend on this cigar? Do you want to? Oh, we already said what the cigar was. What's the blend on this?
Want to start with
Well-
the Connecticut?
Let me start with the project. One of the best parts of my life is professionally is when we can match a cigar to a retailer that can do something with it.
Oh.
And this was the perfect match. I know that cigar was made. We had Art in mind on the cigar.
Wow.
Art buys a lot of cigars from us so we can work some pretty phenomenal deals on some pretty phenomenal cigars. And this is one of them. It's made at the Placencia factory, and it comes in 2 wrappers, the Habanos and a Connecticut. The Habanos is a solid medium cigar with a lot of complexity. I mean, definitely goes with your high-end or your fuller-bodied drinks, I should say, with your winter beers, and it's not going to make a summer beer, a lighter beer, disappear. But it's definitely a great, great blend that is just phenomenal. When you hear the prices on this, it's incredible. The wrapper's Ecuadorian Habano. The binder is Honduran Habano. The filler's Honduran and Nicaraguan. So that makes it a solid medium bodied. Then the Connecticut, we do the same fillers, but we use an Ecuadorian Connecticut leaf. Now, the big thing is the size availability is incredible. Everything from Corona on up on the Habanos. And on the Connecticut, there are no Coronas.
No.
So, sorry about that. But we have them in just about every size you can think of. Like I said, not sure if they want to talk about the price or anything, but you're getting a solid cigar for the deal. Don't look for it anywhere else. Art is the guy who has them. And knock yourself out. We're working on a box press for the future that I'm smoking.
Nice.
And
Ornamental.
so it's an experiment. I can't tell you what's in it.
Wow.
Well,
It is.
These cigars were made to retail for $10 each. I can tell you that right now. And we have a lot of the 6x60s, because that 6x60 is just taken over for Churchills.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably sell 100 Gordos or 6x60s to every one Churchill. Whereas
yeah.
15 years ago, you never heard of a 6x60. It was rare.
Churchill, Torpedo,
Yeah.
Lanceros, Coronas, done.
Lanceros are
Although
coming back.
Coronas
Actually,
are-
Corona's coming
Coronas
back.
are
Well,
coming
at least
In
we're
our,
fine.
in our
Yeah.
stores.
Come
Yeah.
back.
I
Lanceros,
love Corona.
you may think they're coming back, but I always joke around with people and I tell them, Lanceros are the factory owner's favorite cigars.
Yeah.
Us too.
You know
I
why?
love it.
Why?
Because when they don't sell, they have to smoke the inventory. So
That's
it's
funny.
a tough sell. I mean, it's a great tasting cigar. As is a Corona's my favorite size, but trying to sell them, everything has to do with perceived value.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I never thought I would sell a 7x70 cigar, but by God,
Oh, God.
we sell them.
Because the bigger guys like something bigger in their hand, and that's what I tend to find. If I show them a great cigar, but it's not a 6x60 or bigger, they don't want to try it because it's just they feel like it's too small in their hands, too dainty. So look at a Lancero, that would you never see them smoking.
But
a
you're
Lancero.
tasting more of the wrapper.
I wish they'd understand that.
You know, when I
but-
see a 7x70 guy asking me, what's the wrapper, where's the wrapper from, who cares?
Yeah.
You're never going to taste it.
Can't fit it in your mouth.
But they like. I'm telling you, the bigger guys, for some reason, they just want a bigger cigar. I don't. It's a mind thing.
Yeah.
It's a mind thing.
Well, God bless them, because they keep me in business.
I
but
can't do a
Yeah, they're more
7x70.
expensive, so it works.
I
for
thought I
us.
could smoke one of those. I'm
All
like,
I know is
I can't.
I
a
did
friend of
once.
mine wanted me to take one to the beach, and he lit that
Really?
baby up, and a bunch of cardinals got together to vote for a pope. There was so much smoke coming out of that cigar. The cardinals thought the pope died.
That's hilarious.
I'm getting back into Coronas now.
I love Corona.
Coronas
It's
are
a
great,
really
especially
good-
when
it's
you're
a really
working.
great size.
And
But it's
also
not
in
a
the winter
commitment.
time. In the
Yeah.
wintertime.
You're right. It's not a commitment.
It's not a commitment. I mean, I love Churchills. If I'm playing golf, if I'm on a
Yeah,
beach.
yeah.
But when on earth, if you're working, half the time you're looking for your cigar.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
what ashtray?
John.
It's my worst nightmare is finding out I lit off a cigar store because I left my Churchill somewhere it shouldn't have been. You know, you're walking in and out of the humidor, you put it down, where
Yeah.
is it? There's
Yeah.
only 150 ashtrays. I should find it eventually, you know.
Oh, you do though. I find cigars like a week later. I'm like, there
Listen.
it is.
Oh my God.
You heard it here first. I'm going for, Art doesn't know this, but he's doing the funding on it. I'm going to come up with a GPS cigar with an
There
app
you
on
go.
the
I
phone.
said I was just saying
That way
that
you
the
can
other
find
day.
the cigar. If it falls out of your cart, you can go back and look for it.
I told John, I said you need a tracker on your cigar.
Yeah, we
You
got
can
a
never
cigar
find
track.
it. There you go.
We got an app for, hey, there's an app
There's
for
an app
that.
for
There's
that,
an app for
yeah.
that.
You heard it here first.
That's a great idea.
That will never see the light of day.
Not unless the technology gets real cheap, real fast.
Yeah, and small. And very small.
Yeah, RFID.
Put it on the band. But everybody takes their bands
Well, let's
off.
get everybody's comment on this.
I
Because we're objective. Even our own cigar, we're going to be objective.
Well, George, one of the things, the first thing you said was it was complex, and that is clear in this. I'm getting a different flavor on almost
Almost every puff. Yeah.
Like I was just thinking, suddenly I got this red pepper that wasn't overpowering. It coated my whole palate. And then the next puff, I'm getting a cinnamon, and then there's a whole bunch of other flavors that I can't quite identify. So it's really, really nice. There's a whole lot of stuff going on.
I'm getting a buttery, creamy taste.
Mhm.
It's very good.
I got
very
that at
Are
the
you
very
on the
beginning.
in the
Habano?
beginning, yeah.
Yeah, we're
On the
smoking a
Habano,
battle down.
yeah.
You're the only one smoking
I'm
the
getting a
Connecticut.
very, very subtle taste of pepper.
Mhm.
Very subtle on the tip of my tongue. But it's very tasty. It is good.
Have you had the Connecticut?
No, I haven't had any of these yet.
Scott? Okay, so I had the Habano a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and I thought that was good. But this is way
Really?
better. I'm sorry. The Connecticut
Really?
is, can I say that? Is so much to me better.
Can I just say you have a nice ash?
Isn't it? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Watch it, George.
Now you know that this
It's a
is
family show.
constructed very well when
Oh,
your
yeah.
cigar burns.
That ash is
Perfect.
constructed
Look
perfectly.
at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And it's my lips too, by the way I'm
Between
puffing
her
on
lips
it.
and her
Oh
ass.
my God.
How's
No,
your ash?
But this is but this is like a
Smaller
mild.
than it used to be.
It's a mild plus. It's creamy. It's
Oh, we're going right in
smooth.
the gutter.
A little like an earthy taste to it, maybe with a slight hint of toast. I'm loving it, and I don't love Connecticut's like that. I'm loving this one.
Well,
This
this
is good.
project was a long time in the making because we went through a lot of different blends and a lot of kicking the tires around. And we designed a cigar to, max retail at about $10. And although you're not going to pay $10,
Wow.
I can see thousands of people jumping off their seats now. We're going to save you. We're going to save you money. Don't worry.
Such a deal.
That's a deal.
This is a great cigar.
And it lives up to its promise. And when you try it, they're in the stores now. When you see the show, the stores all have them. I think you'll be pleased, number one, first and foremost, by the pleasure of smoking the cigar, whichever color you select. And two, I think it won't dent the pocketbook.
Nope.
It'll be a fair price and a reasonable price as we try to keep, especially our own line of cigars and things that are made for us.
But I'd like to just say, if you're not a fan of Connecticut, you got to pick this up. You really have to, just to try it,
Yeah,
just to
just try
see,
it.
because
It's
this
not
is.
your
it's
your
not.
average low intensity.
No, it's
It's
not.
not your
at
father's
all.
Connecticut.
No.
But even with the taste, forget about the strength or anything like that. I mean, it's really pleasant. It's
So-
very nice.
So another interesting tidbit, and kind of crosses over to Europe, because I've never seen a place. Germans are notorious for documentaries. When you put TVs on, it's all documentaries. They have documentaries on documentary, how they make documentary.
Documentary.
So when you do a cigar show or you do an event, they're asking you what kind of soil. I go, what do you want from me? I'm from exit 16 in New Jersey. I don't know Shinola about soil.
That's it.
But I'm telling you, where is it made? I go, Nicaragua. Well, but what does that mean? What does that mean?
Just say
He
under
goes-
the volcano.
I
That's all you
said,
need
well,
to say.
because I like to know where a cigar is made. He goes, well, let's say the factory's in Nicaragua, but what if I was to tell you it has it has Honduran, it has
Right.
oh, well, it's still Nicaragua. He goes, all right, so I have a BMW. He goes, where's it? What is it? He goes, it's a German car. No, it isn't. It's made in South Carolina.
Exactly.
So then the guy goes, oh, I see what you mean. And the other thing is, and I love the family. Plasencias are very honorable people. They're the largest privately owned growers in Central America. And then Hugo from Raíces Cubana, another gentleman, those are our two primary factories. But even when we say the factory, Alan and Ralph are the guys that blend the projects. We go to them to make it, but it's kind of like when you make a car and General Motors comes out with a cigar and then they sub it to someone else. Alan and Ralph have hands-on on all our projects. The only thing that they didn't have hands-on is a new cigar we just made for the boys made. Alec and Bradley are Alan's sons. That's where the name came from. They make a cigar called Blind Faith.
Phenomenal.
And I
Another
was
great cigar.
scared out of my wits with, the Hope brothers, no and Little, just kidding, working on this project. But with their limited time in the industry, I was shocked. And it was a shot in the arm this company needed.
Pretty decent
Because
cigar.
what happens is we're getting out of our comfort zone that we've always made medium to full bodied, which is fine. That's where 80% of the pallets fall on.
We're gonna have to wrap.
But now we're doing medium to full or full bodied, and the kids came up with that.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, we want to thank you for watching. We look forward to you coming
Thank
in
you.
and trying our cup of Joe, as they say in English.
Thanks for coming in, George.
Yeah, George, thank
Thanks
you.
My
for coming
pleasure.
in, George. Always a pleasure, and we'll see
I'm
you
out.
next week.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
everybody.